We usually watch international conflicts unfold on the news and see a tragic breakdown of diplomacy. But beneath the headlines of failed peace talks, a different mechanism is quietly spinning to life. From a purely financial perspective, geopolitical conflict represents the global system functioning exactly as intended. Two invisible engines actively benefit from this instability: the military-industrial complex, or MIC, the network of private defense contractors, and the financial-industrial complex, or FIC, the global banking institutions that manage national debt. We need to examine how these two entities use the life cycle of a conflict to systematically restructure the global economic order. To understand how power moves, we have to look past the human cost on the ground and analyze war as a deliberate, engineered business model. A defense contractor during a long period of peace faces a specific structural problem. When military warehouses are completely full of unused hardware, new orders stop coming in. This chart shows the relationship between active combat and defense revenue. As conflict rapidly consumes hardware, governments issue multi-billion-dollar replenishment contracts to private firms. Beyond sales, the battlefield functions as a laboratory. Contractors extract performance data from live engagements to refine next-generation systems. Armed with combat data, lobbyists take this technology straight to lawmakers. They use regional instability to justify massive, long-term defense appropriations, ensuring taxpayer capital flows consistently into private defense accounts. For the military sector, a prolonged peace represents a fatal supply chain bottleneck, making active conflict a vital tool for generating demand. Replacing these depleted stockpiles costs billions, and governments rarely have the liquid cash to pay for these massive hardware orders up front. To cover the bill, the state must borrow capital at scale, initiating a massive expansion of national debt, managed by the financial sector. War bonds are serviced by large banking networks. Decades later, taxpayers still cover the interest, funneling capital to the financial sector. This borrowing spikes inflation. Smaller participants face a liquidity crunch, allowing institutional investors to acquire their distressed assets at steep discounts. While the military sector destroys physical assets abroad, the banking sector uses the resulting financial pressure to quietly vacuum up hard assets from the middle class at home. Once the active fighting stops, the geopolitical and economic maps have been redrawn. In this settlement phase, the military alliances, secured during the conflict, establish control over the region's energy resources and shipping routes. Simultaneously, the financial complex centralizes control over the now deeply indebted nations that participated in the war. When the accumulated debt from the conflict reaches a breaking point, the existing monetary system becomes too volatile to function. This widespread economic exhaustion creates the political leverage needed to propose a complete overhaul of how money works. This diagram shows the transition to central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. Presented as a solution to post-war inflation, this system moves capital into a central hub, giving the state and partner banks direct oversight of individual capital that was previously private. Because the middle class lost their hard assets during the earlier washout phase, they are forced into a permanent rentership model. The institutions that acquired the homes and businesses now lease them back to a population that can no longer afford to own property. In this order, the military sector sells security, the financial sector rents out access to capital, and the citizen owns neither. Global conflict functions as the essential reset button that maintains this concentration of institutional power.